on Network Africa. Civilians flee as M23 rebels threaten to take Goma cities. A man accused of killing his girlfriend in Massachusetts escapes from police custody in Kenya. Plus, Ghana suspends controversial power tax after an uproar. Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Joke Rogers here in Lagos. A man who fled the U.S. after allegedly killing his girlfriend has walked out of a Kenyan police station where he was being held without anyone stopping him. According to a police statement, Mr. Kangete took off during a meeting in a private room with a man who visited the station, saying he was his lawyer. According to the police, all the officers were attending a separate meeting that had been called by the head of the station. Kelvin Kangete was arrested last week, leaving a club in Kenya's capital, Nairobi. A court had allowed his detention for 30 days, awaiting possible extradition. Authorities say that after Mr. Kangete murdered his girlfriend last October, he abandoned her body in a car at a Boston Logan International Airport before boarding a flight to Kenya, his country of origin. 4 police officers who were on duty and the man who met Mr. Kangete have been arrested. Rights group Amnesty International is calling on authorities in Madagascar to abolish a new law which allows for the chemical and surgical castration of people convicted of raping minors. The body has described the punitive measure as cruel, inhuman, and degrading. Amnesty's regional director for East and Southern Africa admits that Madagascar rape cases remain underreported and perpetrators often go free due to the victims and their families' fear of retaliation, stigmatization, and a lack of trust in the judicial system, but insists that castration will not solve the problem. President Andry Rajoelina proposed the new amendments to the Penal Code last month, and they have since been agreed on by members of Parliament. We're now in Ghana, where the government has suspended plans to implement a 15% tax on power following a public uproar. Labor unions opposed the new tax and announced nationwide protests against it last week. Authorities now say they are putting the plan on hold until they hold talks to resolve the dispute. The value-added tax was to be levied on domestic consumers of electricity. These developments come a few days after the government started to implement a fuel emissions levy, sparking mixed reactions. Ghanaians are now required to pay an annual levy for the carbon emissions produced by their petrol or diesel-powered vehicles. Analysts feared that the additional taxes could deal another blow on the already struggling economy, further intensifying the cost of living crisis that has hiked the prices of necessities like fuel. We head to DR Congo now, where residents are fleeing due to the M23 rebel group's attacks on a community considered the last line of defense before the region's largest city of Goma. According to the fleeing civilians, the M23, which allegedly has ties to Rwanda, detonated explosives in North Kivu's Sake city, 27 kilometers from Goma, in a scuffle with security forces. Carrying bedrolls and babies and other belongings, hundreds of people marched in the heat along a narrow roadway clogged with beat-up trucks and vans, in flight once again from the unrest that has gripped eastern Congo for decades. In a statement, the rebels had warned that attacks targeting their forces and/or indiscriminate shelling of civilian populations will be dealt with at their source. Congolese President Felix Tshisekedi, who was re-elected in December, has struggled to end the violence despite promises to do so. He accuses neighboring Rwanda of providing military support to the M23 rebels, a claim supported by the United Nations experts, but denied by Rwanda. The vast unrest has created one of the world's largest humanitarian crises, with at least 6.9 million people displaced as of October last year. Joining us for more on this is Reverend Father Jean Goyi, who lives in Kinshasa, the capital, and is speaking to us from there. Thanks for joining us on the program today.
Thanks, Joke. It's my pleasure to join you.
We understand that these attacks are currently ongoing. Can you tell us more about the situation?
The attacks, Joke, have not just been ongoing. They have been on for the past 30 good years. I say 30 good years. The so-called M23 is not actually a rebellious group from the DRC. It is the Rwandese army mixed up with Ugandan army fighting for the control of the minerals-rich region of the DRC. You would recollect that's where Rwanda suddenly became the world #1 producer of coltan, where they don't have one single square meter of mine in the Rwanda. They became the world #1 producer of coltan, which you are using for your phone, for these computers. Channels is part of the thing. The DRC, with more than 70% of the reserve of the coltan, with Rwandan government now that having gotten used to exploiting minerals, is not willing to let go. So they now came from different fronts. North Kivu region, Goma, is to have access to the greater region. So it's going on, but now you are having the current government reorganizing to attack back and to drive these forces out of the DRC.
And reports say that there are more than 120 armed groups in eastern Congo. Has any government official been able to deal, or any government at all, been able to deal with some of these groups?
You see, the problem, what has been the problem, Joke? The problem is that the eastern region of the Congo, so rich, it attracts the countries around the borders of the DRC, where they are making their money on gold and all the other minerals. And so those small groups you are calling armed small groups, there are actually groups that are being financed and armed by the countries surrounding Congo in order to get minerals from them at a cheaper price and then selling to multinational companies like Microsoft and the rest for the current, call it the economy we are running now, digital economy, is being supported by the blood of those DRC. So governments, the different government of the DRC have not been able to deal with those groups simply because the army of the DRC has been infiltrated for the past 30 years by soldiers from Rwanda and Uganda occupying key positions in the DRC army, to the extent that when, for an institution that functions on command, the general and the colonel says, don't fight, go back. And they obey, and that leaves the space, of course, for those countries to keep on exploiting the minerals. But the current government is trying to change the system, but is facing serious opposition, starting with the United States of America, France, and Britain. These are the key countries solidly behind Rwanda, because that's where they are buying the strategic minerals at a very cheap rate.
Right. And Rwanda has denied, any any take in this. He has constantly denied that it's not arming or supporting M23. But, how have you been independently able to verify that these countries that you have named are the ones supporting Rwanda to be able, to get these resources cheaply, as you so claim?
Oh, Joke, the United Nations, they have the largest United Nations army in a foreign country, in the DRC. More than 20,000 soldiers of United Nations have been in the DRC for over 20 years now. They had a special commission of investigation. The commission came up and gave the official report at the United Nations. And they clearly stated Rwanda is officially the one supporting and fighting in the Congo. The report also says clearly that Rwanda has military, their own soldiers, and Rwanda and Uganda have soldiers in the DRC. But behind Rwanda and Uganda, you have the multinationals that are buying those minerals. Okay? You are continuing to exploit minerals. You need the market. Who is buying the market? It's the multinationals that are using the coltan. So in terms of the official report, it has been fully established. I want to tell you here, Joke, the issue of the DRC is challenging the very existence of the African Union. Because at the end of the day, President Kagame came out in Benin Republic there in West Africa and said clearly, we are not at war with the DRC. The problem is we, Rwanda, we have some land to claim in the DRC, which is a very big lie. They say we have minerals that have made Rwanda what it is today. That's a challenge. But now, of course, President Tshisekedi has now gotten reinforced by massively buying guns, including warplanes, which is making the soldiers from Uganda and Rwanda helpless. I don't know how long this war is going to take. The troops from Southern Africa, from South Africa, Zambia, Angola, Namibia, all the sub-region are now fighting on the side of the DRC, while Rwanda and Uganda are being supported by some other countries like Southern Sudan, and of course, Kenya, a part of the Eastern Africa. So it's a very dangerous war you see there. It has absolutely nothing to do with so-called rebel M23. Nothing. It is an economic war between Rwanda and Uganda and the multinationals behind them, fighting for the minerals they want to keep on exploiting, and they've been exploiting for the past 30 years. Just mind you, 12 million Congolese have wasted their life. 12 million men, women, and children because of the minerals needed by the multinationals through Rwanda and Uganda. It's a challenge to Nigeria. It's a challenge to all African countries if they allow these things to go on unresolved.
And has, the DRC been able to, make any money from its resources at all?
Well, I guess right now, Joke, if you go back online, Rwanda is no longer appearing as the #1 exporter of coltan because the Rwandese that was in charge of the largest mine in the DRC has actually been arrested and condemned to death. And now the Rwanda is no longer getting the type of supply it used to get, and so they cannot meet up with the contract they signed with Qatar, with multinational like Microsoft, whatever. So DRC is getting some money now with new contracts being signed with China, some contracts being also signed with Russia. There are new buyers coming in. And I can assure you, the budget of the DRC has jumped up, but unfortunately, to maintain war and to be able to win this war, as the current president is determined, they have to sell those minerals. Instead of concentrating themselves on development, they're acquiring arms and training soldiers to have one of the most powerful army that may be able to contest and to compete with the army that Mobutu Sese Seko had in the past.
Right. Reverend Father Jean Goyi, thank you for your time today and for sharing your thoughts on the situation in the DRC.
The pleasure is mine, Joke. Thank you very much.
Welcome back. 4 years of historic rains in the northern region of South Sudan have submerged farmlands, ancestral homes and roads, turning Bentui into an island. About 250,000 people have fled their homes due to the floods, and they now live in IDP settlements below the waterline, hemmed in by dikes erected and maintained by United Nations peacekeepers.
Unity State in South Sudan is facing a dual crisis, one born out of conflict and the other out of the climate crisis. Perhaps the most pressing challenge for all in this camp is keeping 3 years of relentless flooding from washing everything away.
We might not be saving these people from bullets, but we are saving them from the floods.
Bentui IDP camp is home to a fluctuating population of between 100,000 and 250,000 displaced people.
Behind us is the IDP camp and the UNMISS camp, and all around this area is 5 to 6 feet of water. What you see just in front of you is a thin road which is connecting this, I would call, an island with the outside world.
The camp is the only dry ground for kilometers around, and access is limited to a single road and mud airstrip.
Bantio has been hit by the worst flooding in the last 60 years. And due to this, there's an inundated area of more than 5,400 square kilometers. So this is the challenge which is only faced by Pakistan METF in South Sudan. Our work is more hectic and it is more risky and it is more equipment heavy. And as you can see, we are working round the clock.
Flooding started in 2020 and never relented. It has submerged entire villages and displaced hundreds of thousands. Pakistani peacemakers are on constant guard, providing vital engineering support.
No, we are not off at all. Even on Sundays and weekends, we are working. As an engineering unit, we are maintaining main supply route, we are maintaining dikes, maintaining the airstrip. We are using our machinery extensively, but still the dikes are sometimes deteriorated, and we have to even rush late at night or any time, so to protect the civilians.
Yeah, it's 24/7, and God forbid if something happens, then it carries on. It never stops.
The most important part of the engineering unit support is dike maintenance.
Flood mitigation and response, it usually starts with the reconnaissance of dikes early in the morning. We carry out these reconnaissance of these dikes on foot as well as the boat reconnaissance. Moving around our dike system, which is now more than 80 kilometers of the dike system, which is protecting this Bentiu town. We just move around and see physically with our own eyes if there are some weak points that we need to cater for. If we did not have this dike system around us, then the place where we are standing at this moment, it would be in 5 to 6 feet of water. There would be no IDP camp, there would be no Bentiu town, and there would be no UNMISS presence here in Sector Unity, especially in Bentiu, if this dike system was not available.
Without this constant maintenance, all efforts to keep this vulnerable population safe would be in vain.
There is only one road which is available in this area, which is used by everyone, including the humanitarians and the locals. And we are maintaining this MSR or main supply route. So if that route is compromised, there is no communication at all.
If the road is cut off, it will impact the delivery of life-saving humanitarian aid.
Rupkano airstrip is the second most busy airstrip in South Sudan. It is a mud airstrip, so it requires constant maintenance used by all the government agencies as well as by the humanitarian agencies.
The Rupkana airstrip is the only way out of Bentui. Without it, the community would be completely isolated from the outside world.
A South African court has upheld a ban on opposition party leaders, preventing them from attending President Cyril Ramaphosa's speech this week to mark the opening of the new parliamentary session. The 6 MPs, who were also suspended from Parliament from February 1st to 29th, were among a group of members from the Economic Freedom Fighters Party who were ordered out of the room by the Speaker for interrupting Mr. Ramaphosa's 2023 speech. Instead of leaving, the group, led by EFF President Julius Malema, jumped on stage and held up signs calling on Mr. Ramaphosa to step down before security forced them out. Mr. Malema, EFF's Deputy President Floyd Shivambu, and the other MPs took legal action to appeal their suspension, but were rejected. Earlier in the week, the Western Cape High Court dismissed another appeal they filed, asking that the new parliamentary rules under which they were suspended be declared invalid. Nigerians have been celebrating the Super Eagles of Nigeria's qualification to the final of the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire. And Lagos fans have really been celebrating. Football fans and enthusiasts, including representatives of the Lagos state government, were at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena, Onikon, to witness Nigeria triumph over South Africa on penalties, the game beamed live on giant screens to Lagosians.
The Mobolaji Johnson Arena, Onikon, is one of the several Lagos is a Goal mega viewing center where football fans and enthusiasts who are not opportune to be in Cote d'Ivoire can also come watch games of the Super Eagles on giant screens laced with entertainment organized by the Lagos state government.
Well, it's our tradition in Lagos, it's our culture. Lagos is the headquarters of entertainment in Africa. It's the headquarters of sports. Many of these guys who are playing for Nigeria today, they are one connection or the other with Lagos. So Lagos cannot do less than this. Lagos has brought everybody here to Onikon so that we can show the world how it's done. The match is being played in Cote d'Ivoire, but you can see that the crowd in Lagos is even bigger than the one in Cote d'Ivoire. It's because we know the role of sports in unity. We know the role of sports in bringing Lagosians together.
With the semi-final clash between the Super Eagles of Nigeria and South Africa underway, the anxiety mounts as the Lagos fans anxiously await an opener. The fans are relieved when in the second half, Captain Truce Ekong converted a well-taken penalty. The game drags into penalty. The stadium, however, soon erupts into joy with the Eagles' triumph in the shootout.
The other time, it's like a prophecy that has been, noted by all of us. And it's so exciting that it has come out this way. Even though the moment was such intention, but the spirit of Nigeria was very active and alive. And this has come out with this kind of positive result. It's a big congratulations to the president, to the governor of Lagos State, by providing this platform for everybody to come together in an atmosphere of peace, excitement, and joy. I think we are going to win the cup.
This is the spirit of it, our time. This is going to show that Super Eagles is going to win this match at the end of it all. I want to say congratulations to Super Eagles. I want to say congratulations to Nigeria. And I know that at the end of it all, come February 11, we'll be coming back to Nigeria with that cup.
They've done well. I'm so excited. I'm very happy from the beginning of the game, they were improving, till this match now. We proved that we're the giant of Africa.
Semi-final is done and dusted. There is still one more hurdle to cross for the Super Eagles to become four-time African champions. And that is against the host, Côte d'Ivoire, on Sunday, February the 11th.
Well, as you can see from the excitement there, it was a thrilling showdown where Nigeria secured their spot in Africa, the Africa Cup of Nations final with a nail-biting penalty shootout triumph against South Africa on Wednesday night. The match took a dramatic turn in normal time with Nigeria leading 1-0 and appearing to net a second goal only for the VAR to intervene, awarding South Africa a crucial penalty. Channels Television had the opportunity to interview a few supporters from Pretoria, South Africa.
It was a match filled with tensions and excitement as Nigeria faced off against South Africa in the African Cup of Nations semi-final. The Super Eagles showed their resilience, clinching victory in a dramatic penalty shootout after a nail-biting 90 minutes. Some South Africans say that Bafana Bafana gave it all out.
24 years we haven't been to the semi-finals. This year we came through. It's better than nothing. It's a good start. Maybe next year we can do better. Anyways, it was a good game. Nigeria played well. Well-deserved win and everything. Well done to them. But Bafana, they did the most. I didn't actually think we'd get too far, honestly.
I'm hurt. I'm a bit sad, but I'll be okay. I'm happy for them, though. Okay. Yeah. It was a good game. It was nice. Yeah, it was a challenging one, but okay. Congratulations, Nigeria.
Meanwhile, Nigerians are thrilled with the Super Eagles' performance.
Congratulations to us because we're all Africans, and I'm so happy for Super Eagles. They made it tonight. I woke up this morning with a good news, and I'm ending my day with a good news as well. I say congratulations to Nigerians. I'm so happy. I'm so excited. Even though in the beginning of the game it was there were a lot of pressure. You understand? But we thank God it's a win-win.
What a beautiful time it has been, with the sentiment of one Africa, one nation echoing throughout the supporters.
Yeah. Well, we love each other, South Africa and Nigeria, we are one Africa. And, a game like this, it's something that brings us together, and it creates a friendly relationship, and it makes us one family,
I'm a little bit sad. I'm hurt. But I did say at the beginning of the game that they're going to win only because of the penalties. Other than that, they know we gave them a tough game. And we still shout out South Africa. We are all Africans. Shout out to us. Shout out to them. It's their turn to win. So, let's have a good time.
Indeed, a thrilling match that kept fans on the edge of their seats as Nigeria celebrates their victory and looks ahead to the finals against Côte d'Ivoire on Sunday. We say well done to the Super Eagles of Nigeria. From Pretoria, South Africa, Innocent Samosa, Channels Television News.
I love the spirit of sportsmanship there. Well, that's the program. Thank you for watching. I'm Joke Rogers.